you guys say something real quick?
Yeah.
Huh. Huh. Not entirely sure this is getting picked up, but whatever. Oh man, that would really suck this whole time, you guys. Whatever.
What?
So what? I have a recording program, and I'm not entirely sure if you guys your voices are being picked up.
Oh.
I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's just whatever. I usually like upload these on my personal YouTube, but the
Well,
only
sometimes when I've recorded Skype calls, because I'm wearing a headset, I have to. The other voices in the call end up as background noise on my track.
huh?
I don't know if you.
Nah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Let's just see what happens. So you guys have any more questions about to Myrtle? You guys want to wait till Paul wakes up to talk to him?
No, he's stupid. He hurt me.
You're not special. You hurt everyone except for Gage. Gage is special.
No, he hurt me.
So
We can make him apologize. There we go.
so,
Aw.
so did you guys enjoy this session?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Huh. Clark, did you enjoy it?
Pew pew.
I think she enjoyed it.
You seem kind of annoyed when I brought up the dankery.
The tankery. I think that was funny.
Drugs are bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but freedom is good.
Yes, but we need to convince the government of that, and they don't like it.
Yeah, me and my roommate, we have very hard-hitting political debates.
Oh,
Yesterday, he said Hillary Clinton would have made anime real again. Or yeah,
would have what?
Hillary Clinton would have made anime real. And then I said, you and I both know that Hillary Clinton would have sold anime to the Saudis. Is that what you want? Anime chicks and burkas?
She probably would have too. If she could cut her soul out and put it on the table, she would have sold it to the Saudis.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I thought was kind of funny about like people going nuts about like, what's his face, Trump being a puppet for Putin. And I'm thinking like, I'm pretty sure there's a far more direct connection between Hillary Clinton and the Saudis. And like,
Well, considering that they were directly giving her money, yeah.
yeah, and considering that, or what's his face, Russian Deadpool, like he was going nuts over people voting for Trump over Hillary Clinton. And I'm like, you hate Saudi Arabia, like, why would you want a president who's basically getting funded by Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously, that gives you an idea of how political ideology works, and why I keep saying ideology instead of ideology. Like everybody keeps criticizing that, and like, well, no, you're an idiot. So if you engage in this shit, so
It's like Russian Deadpool. He looks like an awkward teenager, and sometimes he sounds like it when he starts like whining about some bullshit like how popular anti-feminists are on YouTube or something else stupid.
How popular anti-feminists are on YouTube?
Yes.
I'm not popular.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'd say that it's YouTube.
Well, yeah.
I'm definitely not popular.
Well,
I get a lot of. Well, I'm popular with feminists. They like to try to troll and make bad faith arguments and shit like that.
To me, it's YouTube, man. I think like both the feminist and anti-feminist pockets of YouTube are grossly overshadowed by like PewDiePie and like those top 10 list channels.
Yeah,
Some
if he
other
wants to see popular, all he needs to do is look at the Mean Kitty channel. I like that channel.
So basically, he's whining that like this particular pocket of YouTube is slightly more popular and more successful than this other pocket of YouTube that's like the part that he likes.
That's just it. What it is he doesn't actually like free thought. He wants people to agree with him, and so if people who disagree with him are A, getting a forum online, and B, people are actually listening to them, that pisses him off.
I wouldn't say that per se. I'm actually subscribed to his channel. I don't know if you are either. I don't know how much attention you pay him, but
I only paid a little attention to him, and that was when him and two chicks were calling Allison an Islam apologist for
Yep.
saying that instead of just hurting women, Islam hurts both sexes.
Which is a fact.
And
Can't
and
deny that fact.
it actually, to him, that sounded like Islam is not bad. Oh, it's okay because it hurts both sexes. No, wait a minute. How do you get that makes it okay out of this? Are you saying that if something hurts men, that it's okay because it's hurting men? You know, we had this whole long discussion online, not me and him, but me and some other people about this, and I kept saying, if you think that saying something hurts men makes it okay, you're saying hurting men is not a bad thing.
unfortunately, like I think when you say an issue is an issue for both men and women, I think people are less likely to pay attention to it. If something's just
Yeah, that's
an
a bad
issue
thing,
for
because
women.
like we really need to start figuring out that if something is harmful to everyone, it needs to stop.
It's
It
also
doesn't matter.
interesting. Yeah, it's also interesting when you bring up that women are more in control of the child, like bringing a child to term process, because
Mm-hmm.
they want to blame men. They're like, oh, he shouldn't had sex with her if he thought that she would make a bad mom and blah blah blah. He should be responsible for whatever happens, but she doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Then they'll pull some when you give them the information and the facts, because you have to go through this. You have to hold their hand and bring them along to, hey, he's not responsible for he can't force her to have an abortion. He can't force her to give him a morning after pill. He can't force her to take her birth control. He can't force her to do any this, that, and the other. He can't force her to have sex with him. He can't do any of that.
Yeah.
The only thing he can do is either not have sex with this woman or wear a condom that is not 100% foolproof. And then he has to make sure he takes the condom with him
Yep.
and disposes it himself. Trust no bitches. I just don't.
And a guy has to carry a condom with him all the time because
exactly.
if he gets the opportunity with someone he's willing to take the opportunity with, and they have to go buy the condom, that's a chance for things to cool off.
Yeah.
And then guys get treated like pervs for carrying a condom because all you think about is sex. Well, no, all I think about is prevention.
I used to be a security guard at the school I went to, the university I went to, and there was a situation where one of the guys was coming in, and I don't pat guys down, I pat girls down, obviously, but the guy was getting patted down by a friend of mine, and he had to take out everything out of his pockets. In his pockets, there was a condom, and the condom wasn't, I guess, fancy enough.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was the stupidest reason, and he threw it away. And then the cop who I was working with took the condom out of the garbage and said, you're going to need this. Because it was one of those free condoms they give out at school. Just a regular condom. But it wasn't a Magnum. So he just wanted to, throw it away, and people were kind of laughing at him because it wasn't a Magnum.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
It's so stupid. It was the stupidest thing. And he was like, no, man, I won't need it. And the cop's like, yeah, you're going to need it. It isn't shiny enough. It isn't fancy enough. It's not a fancy condom. It's like,
well, and apparently a guy's not a man if he doesn't have to have the Magnum condom. Is that
Yep.
it?
Yep, that was it.
You
And
know,
it's-
I can stretch a regular sized condom over my arm. You can get the smaller condoms. It's the only reason that bigger guys use magnums is apparently comfort, which if it makes sense, but not needing the bigger size condom doesn't mean that you're small. It means you're not abnormally large,
Exactly.
which means most guys should not need them. But you would kind of limit how many guys could be considered men, wouldn't it?
Just let you know you're still recording, or we're still recording.
Oh, that's great. Maybe we
That's
could use this on the
fine.
Honey
I
Badger
mean,
channel.
Yeah, fine. But I used to work around like black parties, so I guess it was this idea within black culture to where if you're a black dude, you have to show off, and you have to have this condom that, you know, exemplifies, hey, look, I have a big pecker.
Well,
Because I'm using this really shiny gold condom, and it makes me so mad because if you're using the wrong size, that's not gonna work.
the thing that I hear about, people saying it'll come off and stuff. That's not really gonna happen either. And if
Oh.
it does, you'll know.
And then some dude was talking, well, if I have 2 condoms, that's extra protection. It's like, no, that makes
No.
it worse. Just
Yeah,
use
it doesn't.
one.
It doesn't fix anything.
We don't.
Oh, it just again, it's that situation though, bringing it back to what they were saying about the whole Muslim apologist bullcrap. They'll always tie it back to well, if you want to think about the women, oh no, don't think about the women when it comes to their decision to keep a child.
Uh-huh. Well, and it's you can get back to the Muslim thing. Who raises the children in Islamic
Exactly.
culture? Who's got the most influence on them in their formative years, the tender years, so to speak? Who is at home with them all day? Who trains them up in the early aspects of their religion? And why is this culture perpetuated again? I like, not to say that it doesn't harm women, but I can't really see not having any sympathy for the men in the culture when they grow up to do what the women teach them to do when they're children.
The mother of what was his name? The situation we had in Boston.
Oh yeah.
The mother of the Boston Marathon bombers.
Mhm.
She left the United States, and then someone interviewed her in the country where she decided to stay, a Muslim country, obviously. And she was proud of what her sons did. She didn't have to do anything but raise them and tell them that if they killed themselves, she would be proud of them.
But that's nothing to do with Islam.
But that has nothing to do with women. Like, that's
Yeah.
what they're trying to pull now, where it's like, go listen to how these mothers talk about their sons who kill themselves and harm other people in the process. They're proud of that shit. And then you have to ignore that these women have agency. Why? Because they're forced to be covered in a tarp. Like,
Basically, yeah.
what? I'm just astounded by this. This doesn't make any sense.
And this is one of the problems with it. I mean, this is not a culture where everything is all in black and white, and you can take factor A and say, well, factor A is the cause of this problem. And if we just change factor A, we alter factor A, we will solve the entire problem. It's just like the culture that feminists changed in the West in many ways. Maybe it doesn't have the same small details, but the bigger details are exactly the same. You have a system of guardianship in which women's welfare is considered paramount because they are the reproductive machine, and they control the social order of things, and men are disposable for the purpose of protecting, providing for, and preserving the integrity of women. And in both our old culture, that's way behind us in the West, and like even in Eastern cultures that are strict like this, there's very similar problems because of that situation. And here we have people coming along and saying, well, this is oppressive to women. It's oppressive because of women. And it may not be women's fault. It may not be all, a big conspiracy where women are trying to oppress themselves, but you can't change the problem. You can't change the culture. You can't fix the oppression without considering that fact. And unfortunately, the knee-jerk butt hurt over not women worsting is probably the biggest barrier to making things better for both sexes that we face in our generation. And it's probably going to be that way for a long time because it's been that way throughout history. And I mean, look what happened in the West. They took that guardianship culture in the West, I think was called coverture. And women faced restrictions in order to facilitate men's ability to meet responsibilities that they had to women and for women. And feminists fought to remove those restrictions from women that men faced. And now we're in a situation where fathers are being excluded from their households, so they can't protect and provide for anybody. And men are essentially under attack. If a man is abused, he has no recourse. If he's falsely accused, he has no recourse. And this is where we are now. Women are at a point now of demanding equal pay regardless of whether or not they do equal work, and demanding infringements on due process rights in order to facilitate greater and greater lack of accountability in women, because they seem to have made that their goal now. And every ounce of it is another weight on men's backs. And that's the result of women worsting. And it's like, that's the biggest enemy we have to gender equality.
Skeptor was on a live stream with, he was on the Skeptic Feminist live stream where
Yes.
he was talking to this woman named Athena.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I remember from that live stream is like Skeptor brought up that like some along the lines that like men are protective of women, that women are less likely to die, so forth, so on and so forth. And she said that, well, yeah, but that's because it's not because women are cared about. It's because they view them as property. And I was just thinking, like, are you saying that across the board? Are you saying that in general that societies just view women as like property?
And my answer to that is, and then you guys expect us to believe that feminism is not about hating men. You ascribe the worst possible motivation for things to men. You say they can't possibly do instead only do it for mercenary reasons. And then you tell me feminism is not about hating men. Pick one, because you can't have both. Then you can quote me on that.
Well, it's being recorded, so yeah.
Well, great.
Even better.
Even better.
I just hate that argument. I just hate what the Middle East needs is feminism.
Oh, another thing, like
Such a stupid argument.
No, what the Middle East needs is about 500 years of cultural development. They're about 500 years behind us. In that particular area, they're about 500 years behind us. Although it is a misconception in the West to believe that it was ever legal for men to beat their wives.
Another thing, like she said that, like she went on this huge rant. Like she said that, she basically said that bad things happen to women because they're women. She didn't say this exactly, but essentially she's saying that bad things happen to women because they're women, but the bad things happen to men. They don't happen to them because they're men. It's just that's just bad things that happen to them, which I turn.
Well, that's when you ask them to prove.
Yeah, I think it's bull.
Exactly.
I think it's
Prove it.
bull.
What's your evidence of bad things that happen to women only happen because they're women? And, you know, like, because there's a bit of circular reasoning there, too. They'll tell you bad things happen to women because they're women, not because, you know, they're people, not because bad things happen to people in general. And bad things happen to men because they're people in general. You know, they're not gendered. And you ask them why, okay? So why do you say that when bad things happen to women, it is because of their gender and not for any other reason? Well, we live under a patriarchy. Well, what's your evidence of patriarchy? Well, bad things happen to women.
Yeah, to
You
me,
know.
I can actually prove the exact opposite. It's like when they say like, "Oh, bad things happen to women because they're women." It's like if you like ban women from going into the military because they're women, you're basically heavily encouraging, sometimes in cases of the draft, forcing men into the military because they are men. So
Exactly.
there's men.
Men are expected. There are things that men are expected to do,
Yeah,
and
like,
that's. It's not that women are excluded as a bad thing. It's that women are exempt from an expectation that men face. And now feminists are turning around and trying to make it a secret club that women aren't allowed in. And the next thing they're going to try to do is change the way the military runs to make it nicer for women to be there.
yeah, to me, it's like there's men and then there's women, and so if you're saying women can't do something because they're women, you're also saying that men need to do this because they're men. It's not like we live on Tumblr where there's like what 72 genders or whatever, where if you
Yeah.
single out like a specific gender, like let's say it's like I don't know, somebody identifies as an attack helicopter, you single out attack helicopters, then you can say they're being singled out because of who they are, because there's all these other genders to choose from that aren't being singled out.
I'd
Well,
allow
clearly,
attack
now attack
helicopters in the
helicopters
draft.
should
Yeah.
they belong in the military.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if they made like a Full Metal Jacket, and nowadays, if like they would be like I don't know, like
I identify as an attack helicopter.
yeah, like they would force
Okay,
they would
you're
force,
drafted.
I think they would force like the recruits to identify as an attack helicopter. Like they'd be making fun of like someone who's like, oh,
Yeah.
yesterday I was a boy, but now I'm a girl, and then you get slapped across the face.
Jeez, yeah. Gender fluid.
Oh, that's another argument I have against the draft. All right, you know how like, you have like these like Tumblrinas with like dyed hair and all that stuff who are like get really angry and really upset. Do you want those people with military training?
Yeah, see, it's always been that way too. There have always been people drafted that are not suited for the military.
Police
And
Academy.
They become they become cannon fodder. So basically, drafting those people, and I'm not saying that these people are less human or less valuable or anything else. That's not what they should be doing. That's not the best place. That's not the best use of the resource of having a human being in your community who can do work. And drafting those people is murder. If they're not capable of handling the military, during war you can't flunk out of basic training. During war, they pass you on. You get through basic training, whether you get through basic training or not. You might get punished for not doing well in basic training, but you can't flunk out of basic training during a wartime draft. Instead, you go overseas and you get killed, and that's how you flunk out. You flunk out of the military. That's what happened in Vietnam. It's like I've been against the draft all of my life. As long as I've been aware that this existed and it could be done to people, I've been against it. And when I started learning about it and I started reading about it, one of the things I learned was that Richard Nixon had initiated, and if I recall correctly, Ford followed up and actually did it, instituting an all-voluntary military. And for 4 years, there was no selective service. You didn't have to register for selective service. And there was a 4-year time span of people who were exempt because they either came of age or aged out during the time when there was no selective service. And excuse me, I guess it was Carter that reinstated it. But basically, there was at least the opinion among some politicians that the draft was no longer needed. And other politicians came along and said, no, you can't have that. And my suspicion is that Nixon was right on that, and Ford was right on that, and there is no need for a draft. That if there was actually a direct threat to American soil, to our homeland, that people would fight. And I believe that for a number of reasons, not the least of which is the fact that, hell, we have people in this country that riot in the streets if you say the wrong thing. You say the wrong thing and they're smashing windows. If they'll do that, then if somebody actually came into this country with weapons and tried to take it over, you can bet that we would fight. And it's not necessary for us to have a military where they can force people into the military because politicians want them to fight overseas, or that the people don't support enough for people to choose to go do it.
Reason why I'm against the draft is because, like, what's the best way I can explain this? It can never be used. It can only be abused.
Yeah, that's essentially the best way to explain it.
Yeah, if people aren't jumping up to fight for your country, their society, their government, then it's axiomatic that those things aren't worth fighting for. So you should probably create a country, a government, a society that's worth defending.
Yeah. I can agree to that.
I remember I got into it wasn't really an argument, I guess, kind of like a debate with NC and some other guy named Der Goldstein about the draft. I don't know if she can still hear us because she hasn't said anything.
Yeah. Trying to think. I'm on the most girly website on the planet right now.
Oh, so. God, why are you doing that?
I'm on Pinterest.
oh,
I'm on Pinterest. No, I'm not on
Pinterest is not so bad.
It's bad if you're me.
Dude, I remember...
Okay, so the only thing I do on Pinterest is find more sources for food recipes.
Yeah.
So
it's not that bad.
I remember I had this friend in high school who like she had a car, so like she drove me around sometimes, and like we went to this record store. It's called FYI.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm a metalhead, so I went to the metal section. I forgot what I bought, and so she went to like the bargain bin section. And she bought this album for $3. I think the band was called like Some Girls or something.
That's funny.
It was a used copy of this album, and so she goes up to pay for it, and like the clerk who looks at the CD that she got, she's like, "No, if you want to take this back, I'll give you a full refund."
Wow,
that bad?
Yes. And then so she buys it despite that clear warning, despite the red flag. Now she puts it in her CD drive or CD player, in her car stereo, and we're driving around. And like one of the songs was like, it just kept saying over and over and over and over again, "You're the prettiest girl, you're the prettiest girl."
What the hell is that?
And then she was like, "Man, this band is really girly."
It's the "What Every Woman Wants to Hear" song. Is that it?
It's what teenagers who don't know what good music is like to hear.
Yeah. There was a group when I was in high school. They never got played on the radio. The only way I ever got to hear them was that somebody gave me a mixtape. What was their name? La Trip, I think? That sounded like a couple of little girls trying to rap. They're probably on... They're probably on YouTube now. They went by the names Tigra and Bunny. Yep, they are. They're on YouTube.
Did Buddy Blackwell have a singing career
No.
in the past?
Let's see if I can. This is. Somebody was like, "Oh yeah, it's a girl band." I'm going. There are already girl bands, right? Like there's been girl bands from the time that there's always been female musical acts. There's never been a time when there hasn't been female musicians.
Look up a band called Matriarchy.
Oh God, that sounds terrible.
No, it's amazing.
I will send you.
It's either called Matriarch or Matriarch. They're like an all-female melodic black metal band, and they're actually really good.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. I have no idea what their political beliefs are. Maybe they just call themselves Matriarchy or Matriarch because it sounds cool. Actually, Anna, I have a professional...
Well, I suppose if they're... Do they have a song called Profanity?
Maybe.
Because that's the second thing that comes up in a Google search on videos. Matriarch, Profanity.
I think they do. Another one of their songs is called One Illusion or One Last Illusion or something like that. I'm gonna look them up.
Does it start out sounding like they're doing like a Gregorian chant?
I don't know. I've only listed like one of their songs over and over and over again. But I really like that one song.
Actually, these guys are pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to look them up to make sure I got that right.
I can't believe Cars That Go Boom is actually on YouTube.
Yes, this is them. Oh, Sinful Decadence is a song I keep listening to over and over and over again.
There's a comment on here. Bunny D has been a nurse for 20 years working in the field of geriatrics, labor and delivery, and special needs children and adults. 3 of Bunny's 4 children are now adults. I'm old. She is married to her first love, La Kid, from Philadelphia's Tough Crew, which released the 1989 hit My Part of Town.
Hey, Hannah.
That's funny.
I have a boring professional question for you.
Uh-oh. I didn't do it.
No, like one of my one of the places I worked for before they hired me, when I got an interview, like he had a complaint about me like going from job to job. And so
Yeah.
I was one of the things I've been trying to avoid. I don't like going from job to job. I like to stay at one place for a while. But anyway,
Yeah.
the job I'm currently at, I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary. I'm just wondering, like, is it actually worth sticking it out for the 2 years so people will say that, so I can say that I've stayed at one job for 2 years, or should I?
Yeah, actually, it is worth sticking it out for to get to that 2-year mark. And it's. Have you moved around, or did you just go from job to job, living in the same place?
Living in the same place, job to job.
Okay. Is it because places closed that you were working for?
No, because they're just like really low-paying jobs, or they're like one of the jobs I had was a what was it? It was a door-to-door salesman. Actually, 2 of the jobs I had were kind of like door-to-doors. I used to sell Cutco. I also used to sell Kirby vacuums. And so those were pretty terrible jobs, so I just got out of them.
I was going to say, one of the things that can help in an interview like that is if you have a good explanation for why. Like I had a professional career, that lasted a long time, and I did side jobs along with that because it wasn't a lucrative career, but it was something I really was passionate about doing, and my professional career wasn't lucrative because I was a stringer for a newspaper and an independent photographer doing weddings. So that's not a big money maker, and I wanted to pursue that, and instead of sucking it up and going getting a better paying job,
What's
I
this?
did that. And I also worked in retail. I worked as a nurse's aide in a nursing home until I got hurt and couldn't do it anymore. Things like that. And if I get asked that question, I'm able to explain my past in terms of why I made these choices in a way that makes them make sense and indicates to the employer that I don't just take a job, work it for a while, not get along with everybody there, and quit. Because that's one of the problems they see, especially like with younger people. They'll find like, or if you've done it for a long time, you work for a year here and then you work for the year there, and then you look back in the last 15 years and you've had 17 jobs and some of them have overlapped and stuff like that, they figure you're just unreliable. But if you can point out, well, there are some of these things that are more scams than real jobs, and I didn't find that out until I took the job and tried it. And once I discovered that door-to-door salesman is not a good job, rather than trying to, trick myself, I went looking for something more reliable. And you have things like that because that's basically what you did, but you have to be able to explain that to the employer in order for them to understand that you're not just work this place for a while, and then when you get tired of it, you go work someplace else, and when you get tired of that, or that you can't get along with your coworkers, so every so often you have to quit and go to a new job because you can't stay in one place too long without causing problems. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Fortunately, I got the job, but he actually didn't give me a chance to actually explain. He actually just said, "I'm sure you have your reasons." He said, like, "Oh, you go from job to job, but I'm sure you have your reasons."
Yeah. Well, and then there are fields like retail, and probably security is another one of them, where they deal with this. Like my field, I'm a direct caregiver for intellectually disabled adults. The turnover in my field is really high because a lot of people, they get intimidated when they first start out, and they don't realize that they're going to build a rapport with the people that they're taking care of, and that things that are hard now, because when they first start out, because they don't anticipate certain things and deal with those things ahead of time, become easier. I have a client that has an affinity for a particular T-shirt of mine, and I can't really give a lot of reasons on it because it would be disclosing information that I can't disclose. But I know that if I wear that, if I anticipate factors that may cause a morning to be particularly difficult, and I wear that T-shirt, it mitigates some of those factors because it's a good distraction and it's a mood booster. And it's just little things like that that you learn, and a job gets easier.
Hmm.
But some people stick it out for a month, and in their first month, they've dealt with clients that maybe have emotional issues, or clients that have physical challenges that they were not anticipating, or they have difficulty keeping track of the massive amounts of documentation that we have to do. And they don't realize you get used to that too, and it becomes kind of semi-automatic. Um, but and they get intimidated and they quit. And like my company that I work for has gone through situations during the last couple of years that I've been there, where for 6 months we were at such a shortage that most of the houses where we have people working, everybody was working mandatory overtime because there weren't enough people to fill all the needed shifts.
Um,
And the managers were really, really working overtime. In fact, the upper management was doing direct caregiver work. Like the people who are usually only in the office were coming in and doing direct caregiver work because there was nobody else to do it.
alright, do you need special training to do this work?
It doesn't take a lot of special training. You get about 2 weeks of various certifications. You get certified to pass meds, which means you open a package where the meds are put in the package already, and you have to make sure that the pills that it says are on the package are the ones that are in the package, and they match what it says they're supposed to look like, and so on. And so you learn to recognize specific medications. This drug name looks like this, and so on. And the generic might look like these things and so on. You have to be able to know, you have to sign for the medication. You have to be able to know to look for if the client's having a reaction for it. It's real simple stuff like you would do if you had kids, basically. And then you learn a little bit about basic caregiving, and it's almost everything that you learn during that 2 weeks is common sense stuff that you would do in your own home if you were taking care of a family, whether you were a mom or a dad. So for the most part, like, there aren't a whole lot of people who, if they put their mind to it, if they're capable of working in any other field, they're capable of doing this, as long as they have the capacity for human empathy, and, to where they would care about the clients. That's all you really need. But the sense of responsibility, I've noticed, does intimidate a lot of people. And it's the same thing with nurses' aides. I noticed when I was a nurse's aide. Now, you're more likely to get hurt as a nurse's aide, because as a nurse's aide, you're more likely to be dealing with mobility issues. As people get older and they lose the capacity to recover from things like broken bones, then you end up in a situation where you're lifting people every day as part of your job. And a lot of women take this job and don't use proper lifting techniques. Or they don't cooperate on the job with each other. That's another big one. And then somebody ends up with a herniated disc, and then they can't do the job anymore. And I may have been hurt in that capacity. We don't know, because I was also in 2 car accidents in 8 months, and I was injured in both of them, and it was back injuries. So,
Wow.
But
It feels like it feels like every
Oops, sorry.
It feels like every time you tell me a story, I'm wondering why you're still alive.
Tough, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not popular on the other side. I don't know. They don't want me there. Like, this girl never shuts up. Don't let her die. We'll never hear the end of it.
We're gonna be dealing with it forever.
That's right. She's gonna be talking politics. No, don't bring her here.
She's gonna be talking about the flavor of her gum overnight. I'm tired of it.
She's gonna be a demons rights activist. I know it. Don't let her in. Don't let her in.
I was looking at some like the housing and the rent, mostly like the rent in Ohio, and I was just like, it just, to me, seems like surprisingly low, because there's one.
That's because you're in California.
Okay. Well, I mean,
It's expensive in California.
I mean, I saw some places that are like, I think it was like $350 for like a 3-bedroom house.
Okay, no, that's in a bad neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you that right now.
Right.
Where we live, we don't live in a high crime neighborhood. We live in a high mischief neighborhood. So, like, your car might get broken into for change. The gas station down the street from where I live, where I used to work, gets held up with a potentially deadly weapon once a year.
Do they ever have security?
No, they have cameras.
That doesn't stop anyone.
But it's like once a year is not that bad for a gas station. It may sound like it's really bad, but that's not that frequent for a gas station, especially in a city.
To me,
but
like, obviously, like, I'm pretty sure there are financial reasons why you wouldn't just hire security, but
because they can't really predict when it's going to happen, and once a year is not that frequent. And about half the time, that weapon is a knife. They've never had anybody actually shot or stabbed or anything there. It's always been the person comes in with a weapon, the money gets handed over, the person makes a stupid mistake, the cops find out who it was, and they get arrested. So they don't really have any reason to hire security. And it's been pretty consistent. They find out who it was, and the guy gets arrested. The scariest one was the guy that came in and went into the bathroom and put a bunch of makeup on, hoping that they wouldn't figure out that the guy that went into the bathroom was the guy that came out of the bathroom with the makeup on. And he had distinctive tattoos that made it even easier to find out who he was.
I think it's funny how like criminals get tattoos. Like
Yeah,
honestly,
because they're stupid.
if I ever make the decision, which I won't, but if I ever make the decision to be turned to a life of crime, I'm gonna make sure to never get tattoos. And if I have tattoos at that point, I'll make it an issue to actually have those tattoos removed.
Or get them cover them up with makeup at least. I mean, it's not that hard to do. People do it all the time.
Yeah.
But
Also, if you get arrested, like, don't they take pictures of your tattoos?
don't they what?
Don't the police take pictures of your tattoos if you get arrested?
Yes. If you get arrested, your tattoos are revealed.
Well, there you go. I have tattoos.
Yeah. So I mean,
Well, if I move to Ohio, Dayton, Ohio specifically, what would be like a good price range for rent per month that I can aim for, where it's not gonna be too expensive, but at the same time, wouldn't be in too much of a bad area?
so we started out at, I think we were at $550 when we started out, but we got a move-in special, and a lot of places will have that. You get a move-in special when you start, and one of my recommendations is do not move to Dayton proper. Look at Beaver Creek or Riverside, maybe Huber. Huber can be a little rough, but not Dayton proper, because Dayton proper is a little more crime ridden.
Oh, crime ridden. That's even worse.
Yeah, it's and or North Kettering isn't too bad. Don't go too far south in Kettering. For some reason, there seems to be like I get Crime Stoppers reports, and there's a lot more of them as you go farther south in Kettering, and as you go farther into actual Dayton, as opposed to the suburbs around Dayton. So that would be my first bit of advice: is look at suburbs,
Can you repeat
and
those,
your range should probably be maybe give or take 100 a month on 600 for safety if you get a 2-bedroom. I'm not sure what a one bedroom would be, because we haven't ever done a 1-bedroom because we've got kids.
Can you say that again? Like you said Beaver Ton?
Beaver Creek.
Beaver Creek.
Beaver Ton is actually not in Dayton, if I remember correctly.
Well, just can you tell me off? I was trying to like find something to write with. So can you just tell me the suburbs?
Yeah, Beaver Creek, Riverside, North Kettering, those are better areas for being safe from crime.
How you spell Kettering?
Kettering.
Kettering.
And if you look at see if there's actually maps of this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like Google Maps or whatever. Yeah, everything's up in the air right now. So my older brother might be moving in with me. So
Okay.
I guess it would help me if there's like 2 people living in one area instead of 1 person.
Yeah, it divides the rent.
So my question is, like, since I'm basically moving over, I want something stable. How hard would
This
it be?
map makes Dayton look terrible, but it'll give you at least an idea. I'm gonna put this through just directly to you.
Is it Google
There we
Maps?
go.
Because I'm on Google Maps right now.
It's not a Google map, it's a spot crime map. It
Oh.
gives an idea of what crimes have happened.
Oh god.
What's actually been reported recently, and you can kind of like I would click out of the arrest one, because that's not really relevant. People getting arrested doesn't mean a crime happened, it just means an accusation happened. And if they did get arrested, they might not have been if they did commit a crime, it might not have happened in the neighborhood.
Yeah, they might have just gotten caught in that neighborhood.
Yeah, so, and you can look, I think you can look at different zip codes. Let me see if it'll let me look at 45431 real quick. That's one of the local zip codes.
Oh, as I was
No, I don't
asking,
want crime alerts. Stupid website.
what I was asking before,
Um,
hold on, what I was asking before is how hard would it be for me to get a minimum wage job at full what is it?
full time.
Yeah, full time work.
Well, and I haven't looked for a job in the last few years. And being female, it's easier for me to find one when I do look.
Really?
Well, yeah, women get hired faster in a lot of the areas that I work in. Part of it is because companies get sort of kudos for hiring women. It's reverse discrimination against men. So I do have an easier time finding a job.
Also known as
Um,
discrimination.
and my husband has been working at the same place for even longer. So I don't know if I could give you an accurate representation of that, but when we first moved here, it took some time.
Do you
It
like
took
a
him
do you like a
eight
minimum wage?
months to find a job, and it took him like 3 years to find a good job.
Oh, really?
I was faster, but I settled for retail, and I stayed in retail until I discovered I could go back into healthcare without having the lifting restrictions I have be a problem. That was what was keeping me out of healthcare. So when I found that out, I went back in healthcare because I would prefer to do that over retail if I'm not going to get to be a photographer.
Huh. So you said like the training for the licensings or whatever to do what you do, working with them.
Yeah, now you would probably make more money if you stayed in security,
Oh, really?
but there's a shortage of men doing what I do.
How much money do people get paid doing security?
Let's take a look. I know when I worked in security, and I had gone from being a nurse's aide to being a security guard. My income went up over $1 an hour, and that was when the minimum wage was I think 4.25. So let's see. See if there's an answer to that online. Well, according to salary.com, yeah, security definitely makes more on average in Ohio than being a direct caregiver.
All right. I guess I'll do that again. Does it say anything about whether it's like armed or unarmed?
It doesn't.